Hello, it's day 4 of vlogging. It sounds like a broken record, so I'll keep it short. Thank you again. Today we have so much to do, and I have a lot to film on this job site. However, there's like 5 different subs right now, so I'm gonna wait to do the job site walkthrough until about noon, about lunch when everybody's off. So I'm not filming anybody who doesn't want to be filmed. But we have our test caps, we have our test plugs, we have water. They did the fire hydrant adapter. I'll show all of that to you guys. We have a second foundation, so this whole big ground job over here has another building right next door. So there's so much material we have left over that my boss just wants to wrap around to the second building. But we have to take the old list of material versus what's left over, refill it, get a charge for that so my boss can get his counts and make sure that everything is good on the financial back end. And then after that, I'm gonna go to every single one of these risers, these pipes here, and I am going to level everything, make sure nothing has backfall, and label every fixture with a Sharpie, so that when we get to top out, everything's clear and good to go. So I have probably about 5 hours of work today, and it's going to be a busy one, but you know, these are the situations that I really add a lot of value to my employer. Because again, right, doing everything is about deadlines. It's gonna take me 3 hours to label every fixture, go off the plan, make sure it's right, verify it, and level it. But in hindsight, busting up one drain would take an hour and a half, and you know, even on a good day, you know, probably an hour per fixture to move, and blah blah blah. So anyways, I can't wait to show you guys, and we'll keep going. First part of my job. So as you can see briefly, because 1 sub out of 6 is here, and I think that's the best ratio I'm gonna get. Don't want to do too much vlogging, but these are all the materials I have to count out. This and this, and then we have overage. Right now, with that overage, gosh, I really hope I can catch it here, but you see past that tractor, there's another building we're gonna start. So, you know, these aren't the real numbers. I'm not comfortable sharing the real numbers because I do not own this company. I work for this company. But, you know, let's say your initial order was 10,000 and we save 30% over, but I did have to make like 5 different orders, some of them hundreds of dollars a piece. So right now I get paid to make the information and then send it to my boss, and then my boss will figure out if we make good money or not. Now, drain test. So drain test, we now have the 6-inch threaded test ball, and then what happens is, see if it's going to be a lot to unbox. I don't have a knife with me. Okay, so this test ball, we're going to undo that cap, put that test ball in. You see this little straighter, which is you know, just like for tires or whatever. We're going to fill it with air, and it's going to plug this up. Then we have our test caps, right? So everything is plugged up, and what we're checking is, if you see the purple, that's your glue and primer, right? We're making sure we have no leaks in the system. And then I go to every single unit, every single pipe is going to be marked with a Sharpie on what it is. And that's my job today. Now, we don't have any 6-inch material, which 6 inch is the sewer. And since we're starting next door, my job is to find all of these 6-inch Ys, count them all up, probably count up the 4-inch after the reducers too, and then basically this project is a near duplicate of this. So once I get everything counted, knowing that we don't have any 6-inch fittings on site, I take those orders, you know, and then we start on the next one, you know. So yeah, so today's water test, pretty high stress. Inspection is tomorrow. The inspector will probably appreciate that all the fixtures will be labeled by me. And yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles. So I'll probably be working until about 5 or 6, and then kind of report if we had too many leaks. Because here's the thing, in all actuality, right, I mean, just look how many fittings there are. You know, can you go 1,000 for 1,000 with no leaks? This whole system is probably going to take 4 hours to fill up with water. Once that is the case, whatever leaks we have, we want to try to get them marked out and noted so that we don't have to test multiple times, unless people want to stay out here till midnight. So it's very crucial that the first time that you test your drains, you find all of your leaks. Maybe not in residential, which is gonna, you know, that was my primary lane, my primary experience. When the business gets started, you know, that's the direction I'll be in. You know, residential maybe takes 30 minutes to fill up, you know, and it's not much to scale. A lot of what I'm doing today would be overkill for something like that. But when your project is 20 times larger, you know, costs can be 20 times larger, you know, and you know, it's a possibility of a make or break on situations like these. But I'll tell you what, if you get trusted enough to clear something like this, work's just gonna come, man. And I'm very blessed. So that's all I have for right now. People are coming back on the site, so we'll keep going. Okay, so as you can see, today is about systems, and I want to talk about this because this is the really exciting part. So this ground job that we're on today, by the time the framing goes up and it's time for the top out for plumbing and heating and air, I will be the supervisor here for both trades, and that's awesome, right? So I became a plumbing journeyman, and then about 3 years later, I got a call because again, I got showed this whole trade ecosystem early in life, like when I was 15 years old. And when I was like 18, I thought to myself, like, wow, what would the practicality be of somebody having 2 licenses? You know, would it be double the pay? Would it be double the work? Would it be double the value, right? It's a fantastic setup. I've had a lot of big lessons in my life to get to where I am today mentally. And I had a pretty big catalyst from the age of 14 to 17, and I think I'm actually going to dive into that one tonight in my room, just a little chat, story time, lessons I learned. But in that process, I lost everything, and when I was 17, I started watching financial content all the time. Dave Ramsey, Graham Stephan, Ben Mala. And then my family would vouch for me for 3 years in a row. You know, I just kept asking for business books for Christmas, birthdays, and I read 15 business books front to back. Why does that matter? Because like I said, today's about systems, right? And my first paid heating and air experience will be supervising 74 residential split systems. And I think that's just fantastic. Now let's go into the dialogue about that, right? So yes, heating, you know, trade school has their shop, they have their theory. So, you know, yes, I've done compressor swaps. Yes, I've done blower motor replacements. I've done electrical diagnostics. I've done about 3 units for friends and family. 2 of them I was able to figure out the repair. 1 of them I wasn't. I didn't charge for any of it. So, I actually got pushback from it multiple times, you know, through multiple phases of all this. In 2022, I brought it up to my boss at the time, like, hey, maybe I'll go to Votech and get my mechanical license that way. And he was like, I wouldn't do it like that. You know, and I never asked why, because I know what he meant, right? Like I said in one of my previous videos, a lot of the insecurities that guys come from is, I'm not ready yet, I'm not doing this, you know, I need to know more before I step into a position of authority. But my mind runs on systems, right? A year from today, when I'm bidding out homes for plumbing and heat and air, what's more important as the owner operator? That you have everything, that you have all your pricings right, that you have all your templates, that you have all your systems, that you know how much to bid, you know how much to pay, you know what comes on that failed inspection sheet, you know what the inspectors are looking for. You know, if I have 74, just like plumbing, right? There's 1,000 fittings we're testing for leaks. You know, do you really anticipate it to hold on the first time? It'd be great. It'd be great. That's what everybody aspires to do, right? So again, in the heating and air scope, you know, I'll have 74 startups. You know, I might have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13 diagnostics, right, on that. I'm excited. I'm really excited to learn. There's probably going to be some blunders. There's probably going to be, you know, moments where, you know, my boss would say or imply something like, maybe you should have known that, you know. And I'm telling you, going from a sewer hand with no credibility to plumber to journeyman overnight, I fought that battle for a year. You know, sometimes I thought, oh man, am I really gonna quit? But I'll be honest, you know, we live in a first world country. Money, I said in my first video, money is a pretentious subject. Money isn't everything. But when my deposits are hitting $850, $1,000 every week, you know, you think to yourself, oh, do you quit? I had guys that didn't respect me, right? Because, you know, I have to tell them to go run the tub because I've been in the ditch 3 years. I don't know. I didn't know. And like I said, that rut, 8 months before I became comfortable, and then like a year and a half before I really knew what I was doing. And I'm just excited, you know. So I've gotten so much pushback. I wanna wrap this up here. So obviously, if you're a roughneck, that's an analogy, right? But if you are, this is probably the only place for you, right? Is in the blue collar world. With that being said, though, those are the guys that I often get the most pushback from. But you know, can we reverse engineer this? why do they care so much about what I'm doing? Right? Why do they think I haven't learned enough? Is it because they're a whisper on the unit, like they just see it and can fix it in an hour and I can't? Or is it because I have the capability and the confidence to do what I want to do? I'm not looking for 70 grand a year anymore. I've had it. I've had it for 5 years. You know, I think I can do it. I want to do it. I'm a generous person. I'm a humble person. You know, if I had $1 million, would I buy a few nice things? Sure. Right. Would I also make sure that my grandma's safe and put up? Yup. Would I also make sure that my mama don't have to worry about her credit card bill that month if she calls me? Yep. If, you know, one of my friends that I know is in a place, you know, I got friends with a girlfriend at home and multiple kids, right? They ask me for $50 for groceries, I give it to them today. You know, I do. I want to make sure everybody is set up. You know, this success isn't about me, right? If I have a boat and if I liked you and if you supported me, I want you on the boat. If you didn't support me but you have came around, I want you on the boat. Jesus talks about forgiveness, right? How can I cast the first stone? My life, you know, sometimes I don't want to interact with people. Sometimes, you know, I get jealous of happiness. You know, I mean, XYZ, right? We all have our flaws. But yeah, you know, like, ultimately, just like with this YouTube channel, like, I want to bring value to you, right? Just keep cultivating relationships. And if people don't understand you, but you understand yourself, you tell me which one's more important.